Well, I think I've gotten everything returned. So, except this one. This one's been sitting here forever. She's paid. That's all I can say. She's paid up, so what am I going to do? I can't really yell about it. I guess I could show you what I'm talking about here. But I got the lawnmower returned, the riding mower. There was another push mower I got returned. And then tomorrow, there's a lady that wants me to pick up a riding mower. So, she said there's a bad belt on it and needs serviced. And then she said her ex-husband or her husband left her or something, and so that's now she's left with a mower that doesn't run or something. So anyway, try not to get into the drama too much. So I tell you, my winch system works just fabulously. It's it really is doing well. It just makes life so much easier. I mean, I dread taking anything. The 50 inches, I can slide the 50-inch in just enough where the back wheels are still on the tailgate, but just barely. And so I dread the 50-inch. But I tell you, I dreaded them a lot more before I had the winch. So that's what I took back today, was the 50-inch. And I decided, or Carolyn decided, I guess. We decided, we discussed it and decided that if it's a push mower, we're going to charge half as much to pick up and deliver as if it's a riding mower 48 inches or less. The 50 inches I charge. So if it's a 50 inch and I can still get it to slide in, then I charge the same amount as I do as a 48 inch or smaller. But if it's a 50 inch that I can't get in and get the back wheels onto the tailgate, then I charge an extra fee because I got to take the deck off. But you can see, in order to get the 50-inch in, I had to kind of squish it right here on both sides. So the deck literally just slides right into that groove there. I've almost felt like maybe I could take that off, cut it, but I don't want to damage the structural integrity of the tailgate or of the bed. So I leave it alone. I've thought about beating it in some more, but no, I'm just going to leave it alone. It does pretty good. I probably could slide it all the way past that and get it up there really good. But one time I did that and the darn deck got stuck in there, so I had to get the beast and pull it out. Well, if I'm at the customer's house, I don't have the beast to pull it out. So tonight there's storms coming. Yeah, and you can't really tell what we're getting. I mean, yesterday they were talking about 70 and 80 mile an hour winds, hail as big as softballs. So I mean, it's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to call the insurance company tomorrow because I'm not gonna survive it. But now they're saying heavy rain, which I can deal with the heavy rain, although I may not be able to pick up the lawnmower tomorrow because of the heavy rain, but I can deal with the heavy rain. And then we'll have flooding, so I mean, like I said, I may not be able to pick up the lawnmower. But the wind always bothers me a lot. Of course, it flips the solar panels over. I got to be careful of that. The hail just destroys the solar panels. But the tiny house, I mean, it's just sitting on a trailer frame. If it's heavy wind, it could roll this over maybe. I don't know. Of course, we got the camper. Can it roll that over? I don't know. Fortunately, everything's to the northwest this way. So the camper is not taking a direct impact on the side of the camper. Neither is the house. The house is taking the impact on the smaller side of the house. And it would really have to be able to really oomph it up there. Of course, it's tied down. And then, so I'm sure we could survive it okay. I don't know. I picked up a lot of ticks today. I don't know how, but they're all over me. And but I will say, the advantages to having a storm in the springtime is the trees. The trees with the leaves on them in the spring just stop the 80-mile-an-hour winds. Pretty much dead in its tracks. We really don't get hit too hard by them. I mean, it's windy, but not... It's scary because those trees are just swinging. This sycamore right here, oh man, it bends over. You think it's going to lay over. It bends so much. But sycamore is a very flexible tree. There's Red. She's awful exploratory today. She's off looking at things. That's weird. I'll cut the grass Sunday. It's only been 2 weeks, but look how tall it is. It's taller than her in some spots. So that's what's so strange, is nobody's cutting grass yet. But my yard, we've already cut it once, and I'm gonna have to cut it again. So I thought about using that tractor that was here to cut the grass. But I really get nervous about doing that. Using somebody else's lawnmower. I did it the first year we started cutting grass, working on lawnmowers. I'd use their mower and cut the yard. But if I hit a stump or a rock or something and I damage it, now I'm responsible for fixing it, and I don't really want to do that. So what I do is I get on the road and I test it on the pavement. I turn the blade on. I run up and down the road a few times. I turn the blade on and off. Every time a car passes, I shut the blades off and then turn them back on. So that gives it plenty of cycle time. And I do that. I probably run up and down the hill 3/4 of a mile, running back and forth. What is she doing? Well, she's just sniffing around. That's really strange. I think she's finally gotten used to Girly being gone. I mean, I didn't notice a big difference in her behavior when Girly died. But yesterday and today, I've noticed a huge improvement over any behavior that she's had in the past. Yeah, I think she was really scared of Girly. She couldn't live without her, but I think she was scared of her. So now it appears that she's accepted that Girly's gone. She's the dog of the house now, and she goes in and out. She goes out. Here's what's interesting: is Girly used to ask all the time to go in and out, in and out, in and out all day long, which was cute. But she never did. She would either go out at some point with Girly, or she'd just lay in the house. But now all day long she's going in and out, in and out, in and out, just like Girly used to. So she's getting more independent. She's learning that this is her place now, and she can live it the way she wants to. So I think that's good. We gave Girly one last shot at life and gave her some medication so she can enjoy, good quality life. It wasn't as long as if she hadn't been on the medicine, I guess. But it was quality. She got to go out and run, play, chase cats. That last day she was just having a great time. Well, now I guess it's Red's turn to have a good quality of life. She's just walking around all over the yard here. So, well, what else is going on? Oh, I had a little bit of excitement today. There's folks in the town who, well, our town was unincorporated. They voted to unincorporate it 2 years ago. Or, I'm sorry, 2 years ago. 2015, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And that was one of the appealing things about us. Now, we live outside the city limits. Barely, but we do live outside it. Well, they've been talking about trying to capture the glory of the past. Some of the people. A couple people. The majority of the people do not want what they're pushing. But these people, this small group of people, have all of a sudden become the authority of what we should be doing. And there's been talks about annexing our property, trying to reincorporate the town, getting a mayor, and then annexing our property so they can have a walking path down to the town. They want to open up a museum down there and, you know, pave the roads and just all the big city stuff. So they were talking about bringing in the county commissioner and making everybody clean up their yards. Now, you got to understand, our yard is spotless. We just drove around town today to take a look. We have that camper that you can see from the road. The rest of it, the wood pile, that kind of stuff, there's nothing illegal about what we're doing. The camper's legal, the house is legal, all of it's legal. We checked and checked and checked. So really there's nothing that they can do to us, but I do think they would try. They would try to get something. And what they're wanting to do is they're wanting the commissioner, the county commissioner, to come out and issue thousands of dollars in fines. And then what will happen is they can't afford the fine, so then the county takes over the property, or, you know, you have to sell the property so you can pay the fines, or, you know, whatever. And that gets you out of there. And then they can take the property somehow or another. Maybe buy it through an auction or whatever. And then they can have their walking trails and their museums and all that stuff. So that's the kind of the plan that they have in place. But to me, you know, we unincorporated this in 2015. I didn't, but that was one of the appeals of why we moved to this area. And I don't think anybody really wants to, you know, do it again. Let's see if we can tax ourselves into the gutter again. But they really want to. So, you know, yesterday they took a poll on Facebook that they wanted this county commissioner to come out and have a meeting. And well, so we drove around today, and every property we looked at has probably worse violations. I mean, you know, like legally bad violations than what we have. We don't have any legal violations. It may not look pleasant here, but there's nothing illegal with what we've done. The camper's legal, like I said, everything's legal. But we even drove by her house, and she's illegal. She has lots of junk laying around, two dilapidated, you know, two lawnmowers in disrepair. That's what I wanted to say. Just sitting there. So, you know, her neighbors got junk all over the place. The houses behind her got junk all over the place. And mobile homes rotting to the ground. And so, you know, you think, if she's going to bring the commissioner out, does she think that somehow that she's going to be immune to this? Well, they started playing political games, and you could tell they were writing everything in AI. Everything was being written by AI. And they were planning how they were going to get back with the people who were responding with, hey, you know what, just leave us alone. And so they were just really playing the political game and doing tag, good cop, bad cop, that kind of stuff. So I thought that was interesting. That, I don't know, I just find it interesting. You know, you have New Yorkers moving to Florida and then telling Florida how to live their lives. Well, why'd you move out of New York if you're just going to bring it down to Florida? You got California moving to Texas and telling Texans how to live their lives. Well, why'd you leave California if you're just going to come down and make Texas California? Well, the same thing's happening here. They're moving down from Wisconsin and telling this little town of 100 people how to live their lives. It's embarrassing to be in this town, and we should take pride in our town for our children. Okay, well, you know, my kid's all grown up. She's got her own life. She doesn't care about this town, you know. So I'm going to jump off here. So if you'll click the up next box, take the video over to my other channel. Really appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. I don't know. Cut your grass so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.